We are learning more about what happened on August 17th, the day a 16-year-old named Varney Kennedy was shot and killed outside of the African Market in Brooklyn Park. Police have arrested 18-year-old Marcus Thornton, and he has been charged with second-degree murder with intent. The criminal complaint says surveillance video showed Thornton walking up to a car in the parking lot of the African Food Market and shooting the person inside of the car. That person was Varney Kennedy from Golden Valley. Police say after the shooting, the shooter ran away to the apartment complex nearby, where he changed clothes and then got into an Uber. The individual who called the Uber and disposed of Thornton's clothing has been charged as an accomplice after the fact. Gun violence in Brooklyn Park is at an historic, unacceptable level, and that's according to Police Chief Craig Enveldson, who addressed the City Council earlier this week during a lengthy discussion on the issue. Delane Cleveland joins us with more on the work the city is doing to help prevent gun violence. Delane?
So far this year, Brooklyn Park has 96 confirmed incidents of shots being fired. That's compared to 102 during all of 2020. It's a problem the police are working hard to fix, but it's work that they can't do alone.
The absolute lack of cooperation that the police are getting at the scene and in the follow-up investigations, it's absolutely zero to limited, the cooperation that we're getting. In fact, we're usually the problem when we show up to these scenes. That makes it very difficult to hold individuals accountable for their actions. It also makes it very difficult to try to prevent any further shootings.
It's a sobering admission from the Brooklyn Park Police Chief, but he says the city is now going to explore non-traditional methods to help curb the violence. One tactic that began earlier this week involves partnering with civilian community members to engage and intervene with the people committing the gun violence. Through the use of a $250,000 Hennepin County grant, the city will work with the nonprofit Minnesota Acts Now to help patrol some of the city's most violent hotspots. That's just one approach the city is doing in conjunction with the county, along with funding programs related to victim support and food insecurity.
Police are only as strong as the support they get from the community. I believe that this community is ready to support our police and the work that you're beginning. Every person in Brooklyn Park deserves to feel safe, and they don't right now.
The police chief says the partnership with Minnesota Acts Now is being funded entirely by Hennepin County, with the exception of city staff time and a vehicle. Shannon?
This week, the Brooklyn Center City Council took a step toward putting police reform into action. Specifically, they approved a project coordinator to help implement police reforms. In May, the council passed a plan to make reforms to the city's police department following the police shooting of Daunte Wright. Some of the changes involve officers only issuing citations for low-level offenses and authorizing unarmed civilians to respond to minor traffic violations. Another one of the reforms included creating an implementation committee chaired by the mayor to help put reforms into practice. The project coordinator's job was approved by the City Council in a memorandum of understanding this week. The position reports directly to the mayor. This person would coordinate events like public information sessions and presentations and would help set timelines for the committee. Council members who voted against the petition expressed concerns that the person would only report to the mayor, which is not how the city's government was designed, and that there isn't a designation that this would be a temporary position. The city of Crystal is seeing an uptick in violent crime this year, with violent crimes up 20%. Police say a large number of the crimes are happening in the business district, but the call officers responded to on Tuesday night was in a residential area. Officers responded to a shots fired call near 56th and Perry Avenue North. When police arrived on the scene, they found 16 shell casings. Police say the gunfight was between two vehicles that were driving through the area. Police say they are finding that much of the spike in crime can be attributed to people not from Crystal.
What we're dealing with is people that are coming into the community from outside and getting involved in shootings. Most of the people that we've identified or prosecuted have not been from our area.
Police don't think anyone was hurt in the shooting on Tuesday night, but they are checking local hospital records. If you have any information on this incident, you're asked to give them a call. The road in front of the Crystal Police Building is temporarily closed, but drivers are not paying attention to those road closure signs, and police say it's creating a dangerous situation there. Reporter Sonia Goins has more on the road construction chaos.
The intersection of 42nd Avenue and Douglas Drive is closed while crews work on the sewer for the new Crystal Police Building. This stretch of road is typically busy, and in some aspects, it still is congested, although there are signs saying the road is closed.
I'm amazed they can't read. They don't believe it.
Our CCX News camera caught many drivers ignoring the street closure signs. Some drivers paused, while others kept right on going until they hit the dead end, making a U-turn in the middle of the street.
Well, there was a semi, I saw it parked down there, and all these cars trying to go around it. And he's waiting patiently for all these cars, and he slowly backed up, and then he backed up somewhere. And I thought he was going to go that way, but he actually turned it around this way and got going.
Dozens and dozens of vehicles continue to ignore the road closed signs.
The detour actually starts back at Winnetka. We're encouraging drivers to use Winnetka to Bass Lake Road, back to Douglas, or 36th.
Out of frustration, the public works crews set up this sign. Yes, the road really is closed.
Because it was a potential safety concern, we modified it a little bit to say, trust me, the road is closed.
Police Chief Stephanie Revering says motorists who don't heed the warning signs are creating a dangerous situation.
Do I want to have our officers give tickets because we're the ones actually causing the road closure? No. But we could, technically.
Please do not come all the way to the closure. We promise you it's closed.
The road is expected to be reopened around September 3rd. In Crystal, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Season openers for most football teams are coming up in a week. At Park Center High School, the Pirates are anxious to get a few marks in the win column this fall.
The Park Center football team is squarely focused on their season opener September 3rd against Bloomington Kennedy. The Pirates haven't won a varsity game since September 2018. In fact, the players and coaches are well aware of and talk about.
Oh, man. Anxious, I don't even know if that's the word. That's all we talk about. The last 2 years have been pretty tough, and the kids understand it. We all feel it. The positive, our community's been great. Our parents have been great, but the kids are itching.
This year, I feel like it's something different in the atmosphere. Everybody's eating different. Everybody got one goal in mind, and we want to win a game.
Despite the lack of recent success on the field, the Pirates feature an experienced and dedicated group of seniors who have worked for 9 months preparing for the 2021 season.
Yeah, that's very accurate. I would say we worked out even more behind closed doors, getting out where we can. After practices, after scrimmages, we just trying to hit the field whenever we can. We might be tired, but we got to work for our senior year.
They've been through some struggles, that's okay. Sometimes you go through a struggle to see the positive at the end of the tunnel.
Among the key players back are senior quarterback Marcus Freeman, now in his 3rd year as a starter. Running back Micah Hoban was the team's leading rusher in 2020. The wide receivers include returning starters Austin Iobamadelli and Chris Frazier. And a veteran offensive line anchored by tackle Kellen Kopp looks to be a team strength. On defense, the linebackers should be good, led by Ishmael Conte and Quavius Hornsby. This group of players is determined to make the 2021 team one that helps improve the fortunes of the program.
When I first came here, they were all like, you should transfer and this and that. But now I'm like, no, the coaches are great. Everything is great here. We just have to put our mind to it and listen.
You can look for more Prep Football Training Camp reports of local teams on our website at ccxmedia.org. Wayzata's boys soccer team ended the 2020 pandemic-shortened season ranked #1 in the state. But there was no state tournament payoff for the Trojans or any team last season. The team hopes to write a different story this year. Jason Malillo visited the Trojans during tryout week.
More than 100 young men are on the pitch at Wayzata High School, fighting and competing for spots on the Trojans roster.
It's an exciting week because everyone's excited to get back to high school soccer and start the season, but it's also a very stressful week.
It's good, but also it's hard because there's a lot of good kids and we're going to have to end up cutting some kids, which we never like to do. So it's a little bittersweet.
When the final varsity roster is printed, Wayzata will have a plethora of talent, especially on the back end, led by All-State defenders Miles Akibwe and Peter Melquist, and goalie Jack Roach.
Kind of we have like the strong connection. We've all been playing with each other pretty much our whole lives. So we're just able to connect through the midfield and then slowly work our way to the offense.
We'll spend over half the season just working on our defending, and then hopefully we peak with our attacking at the end of the season.
Wayzata will have to fill some holes in their attack, but returning starter Joe Highfield is a dynamic scorer. The Trojans have high hopes again this season, especially after a pandemic-shortened playoff run in 2020, when they were ranked #1 in the state.
I think we had a lot of promise and could have, maybe gone all the way.
Some of the juniors and some sophomores and freshmen who were on the team last year carry that into this season.
Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
Wayzata opens the season with road matches scheduled for Thursday and Saturday. The Trojans' home opener is Tuesday against St. Michael Albertville. That's all for sports. I'm John Jacobson.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.